is the Deering Acting Studio Podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
Alrighty, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Deering Acting Studio Morning Podcast. I liked how I put the little p in podcast.
Podcast.
I'm also worried I got a little booger. Am I good? Do I got a booger?
See?
No,
I don't see it. Yeah.
not
Did
on
I-
the close angle.
Did I have? We'll have to look back and see if I had a booger and the
Maybe it
booger's
was like
gone.
a moment.
I mean,
that it was
I
there.
feel like now that you pointed it out, people are going to look at it, so hopefully you didn't, because
I might
that
have.
would be embarrassing.
Well, at least I dealt with it and leaned into it. It wasn't like a Ted Cruz situation where you got remember the crumb on the lip? Do you remember that?
no,
I do not.
honestly, I don't pay very much attention to
Lion
politics.
Ted Cruz.
Teeny tiny Ted Cruz.
No, this was the last election, Joey. So
Oh,
so
okay.
this is interesting. So Ted Cruz was like leading Donald Trump in the primaries way back in the day. And I got nothing against Ted Cruz one way or the other. I don't know. But this killed him. It ruined him. He had this big old white crumb on his lip.
Oh, no.
And he was like talking to the American people. And this crumb just sitting here. And then it went. And it moved up to here, and he still has a big old crumb. And then eventually it moved again, and it's big crumb, and he goes, and he licked
Oh,
it.
no. Oh.
And I remember watching it going, and I told Leanne right away, I was like, babe, that dude just lost the election.
Right there, right in that moment.
Like,
That was it.
There's no way tomorrow morning is not just like meme after meme after meme of this, like this thing.
And was there?
100%.
Oh,
100%.
dang.
Yeah, that became
Teeny tiny
that
Ted
became the
Cruz.
thing. Yeah, no, it's not. That was a teeny tiny Marco Rubio, wasn't it? Wasn't it tiny?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
I have
remember
no
all
idea.
Frank's impersonations. They're pretty funny.
Little teeny no, those are real names that Donald gave people.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, you wrote about that in your book.
I did. So today, hello everybody. Welcome to the morning show here. We are today discussing this idea of creating a space for people to live into. So raising your expectations. Now, today we want to talk about going beyond you and raising your expectations of the people around you as well. And this is a really good principle for parents. I think most parents would understand this, and even people who are not parents can think about when someone's done this for them in their life. Let's say there was a teacher, and most teachers are easy on you. Then there's that one teacher that's hard on you, and they're
Yep.
like, you know what? No, I expect more out of you.
Yo, I'm just going to throw out you. I'm just going to do that because I have a story.
Okay, hit it.
I literally told this the other day. So when we were first starting out and I was beginning my acting journey, and I for a long time, super lazy. And so when I was a teenager, I had this monologue that I was supposed to prepare, and I did not prepare it. So I was not like ready. Yeah, not ready for class, not memorized. And so I showed up, and that was clear to you. So then I went up and I was going to perform it anyway and just kind of do it with where it was at. And you made me, in front of the whole class, sing I'm a Little Teapot in front of everybody, which was Matt's old thing. Like,
Oh
literally, if
my
you didn't do your
gosh.
work, you got up in front of the class and had to do this.
It wasn't
embarrassing-
just if you didn't do your work, though. It was like if you didn't do your work, if you showed up late,
Yeah.
if you forgot to bring
Well,
the
and
script.
That was
I
his
did
thing.
that, and what's interesting is I did it in a playful way.
Yeah,
and
it
I
wasn't
tried
like-
to do it across the board so that it became something that was you didn't want to do it, but a fun thing. My idea was never to shame anybody.
Right.
At the moment, but it's just to say, hey, right now that's the same thing as showing up late for me or whatever.
Would you say that it is shameless?
No, I wouldn't say that yet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Don't worry
so
about it.
I definitely didn't feel that way either. So
You didn't feel shame?
No, not at all. There was a form. It was more like I felt myself like idiot. Like, how could you do that? So the thing that it did for me was it was about you because you cared so much. So I had never had a teacher who did that in that way. So then after that, and this was because you, again, never did this with another student that I ever saw in my class, but you were like, okay, and now you can watch everybody else and you don't get to go. And you knew me. You know, like, obviously, we're family. And so you knew I could handle that, and I needed that. And I did. And after that, like, every time I came to that class, like, I made sure my stuff was done. I made sure I was ready because I was like, I want to perform, right? And so the I'm a little teapot, going right into what you're saying, for me was like, oh, that's kind of embarrassing. Like, but I was also one of those kids that was like,
that was a performance for you.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let's do this teapot.
Let's perform.
So you saw that and you were like, well, here's your punishment, right?
Right.
And it worked. It really, really worked. And so I think that just really speaks into, it came from a place of love that you really knew that I was capable of so much more. And so that was just really cool.
That's a great example, Brian. I would say if you take that idea and then you place that on another child, and I happen to know them, and I know that they're not going to get it right. They maybe didn't do their homework, but for them, just standing up and saying the first few sentences is a big deal.
Yeah,
they're going to get to go that day.
100%.
And that's what we say when we're talking about individual instruction. We're looking to raise everybody's game as individuals. And so, yeah, that's cool, because I was looking at you as an individual and going, all right, what does Brian need right now? He needs work ethic. Because there's no doubt in my mind you could have gotten up and done pretty good, probably been top 10% in the class without trying. And it's interesting. I think we're usually hardest on people, too, that we recognize in ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, I had been plagued by that my whole life, this idea of being good enough without trying. And so then, the constant B plus A minus student when I'm capable of so much more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cool. Yeah, that's great. What about you, Joe, man? You got an example? Probably Mr. Joe Flowers, I bet would be a good one for you.
Yeah, for sure. So I remember in his drama class, so Mr. Flowers comes in to audition for us all the time, which I think is really funny and also cool. Like, I enjoy seeing him post high school. But he was, wow, I'm really messing up this graphic right now. Trying to get my face on there.
Did you do the thing where I'm in front of you?
Well, no, I did it
eventually.
when you were in front of Brian. So,
Got it.
Yeah. Boom. Sorry about that. That was a little bit of a delay in the show.
But cool to watch. I was watching it. Was cool.
Yeah.
What I like to do is just distract people with the air horns.
Air horns!
All right, go, Joey. So we were talking about raising expectations. So raising the expectations of those around you, and when that's been done for you, maybe.
Yeah. So Mr. Flowers definitely did that. One of the times, and I've talked to you about this before, but one of the times was, so I transferred to Shadow, and
By the way, this is Shadow Mountain High School. Mr. Flowers is the Shadow Mountain High School drama coach.
yeah.
And teacher.
And I'm gonna just say it. He's the best drama coach in AZ. Just saying, for high school. But you know what? Like, I'm biased. I haven't taken every high school theater class in the world, but like, he was top notch. But
Mr.
anyway,
Flowers is legit.
he is legit.
Okay.
For sure. And hopefully we're gonna have him on the show soon. That is.
He's already scheduled.
That's-
Guaranteed.
Oh, Brian
Yeah.
coming in with the slam dunk.
Flowers, Joe.
Dude, that was
That
sick.
is great.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I'm really glad I had it on the wide angle.
That's awesome.
Okay, so
I think we're gonna get to the story though at some
yeah,
point.
eventually.
At some point, yeah.
Eventually. No, I'm really glad you led me into it, because I was like, oh man, there's so many stories. I don't know what to talk about. But one specifically stuck out, and I've talked to you about this, and that was, so when I got to Shadow, I didn't really know anybody. It was very new to me. I came down because Brian was still in his coma, so my parents were down in Phoenix, and it was just kind of a big move. I never really expected to leave Wickenburg until after high school, so it was weird. But I ended up in his drama 3-4 class, and I enjoyed it, made a lot of friends in there, and after like 3 weeks, I was like, I tried out for the musical, I was in it, and I was reading, and I found out that at Shadow you have to be in the 7-8 class to do the spring play. And I was like, well, that is really unfortunate. I would like to do the spring play. So then I went and talked to my counselor, and I talked to him, and I was like, I really want to get into your 7-8 class because I want to do the spring play, and I really love theater. And he was like, okay, cool. but you have to still take drama 3-4.
So you had to take both classes at the same time in high
Yeah.
school in order to be eligible for the play.
Yeah.
So he took it easy on you then.
Well, I wouldn't say so.
Did he push you in both classes? He expected
Yeah,
a lot.
very much. He made me.
Did he know who you were? Connection to us right away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's probably why he pushed me so hard. But yeah, it was interesting because I fell in love with both classes for a different reason. But at first, I was like,
And he pushed you
Really?
super hard, and yet he's one of your favorite teachers.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and that's that. I believe that's how it goes for real. So, okay, I'll tell you my story. Mine was Mrs. Torzala back in 7th, 8th grade.
I met her.
Did you?
Yeah,
at the
because we
bishop's
went-
funeral, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this woman, she pushed me hard when I was in 7th, 8th grade, and I was coasting. I mean, I ended up seriously when I graduated 8th grade, I was top in my class by far. I got a scholarship to Brophy. The Knights of Columbus honored me. Like I was like top
The man.
grades wise and intellectual stuff, and she was not gonna have it. She wasn't all about like Matt like knows stuff. She pushed me and pushed me. She graded me harder than everyone else, and I remember just thinking like, ah, you serious right now? And I would grind and grind and grind for this lady, and then this is a true story. So the time you met her at our uncle, the great uncle Bishop Thomas O'Brien, when he passed away, she was at his funeral, and I saw her, and then we went over to her table, and I was talking to her for a little bit, and my older sister Kelly comes over, and she knows how I struggled in Miss Torzala's class, and she was like, Kelly comes over and she goes, so who was your best student? And she's like looking at me and looking at Kimmy and like knowing it's her, and Mr. Zala goes, Matt.
Oh!
Like without hesitation. And Kelly's like, wait, what? And she goes, he worked the hardest out of everybody. Like this guy right here, best student. Dang! And I was like, oh.
That's what you get.
That's what you get. Dog.
Awkward.
But you know what?
Dang.
That's because she pushed me and she was hard on me, and she brought out the best in me for
Yeah.
real. And she's one of the few teachers that I remember from grade school. I remember her name. I remember like the classes. I've mentioned her several times on Facebook when I've done certain things. Like when my first book came out, I tagged Mr. Zala.
Oh my goodness.
I was
that's
like,
amazing.
thank you for all the the teaching, blah blah blah, and like I credit her to a lot of my success because she pushed me.
Yeah. That's cool. That's an amazing story.
So we use this idea, and we translated it right now into our rebirth of the Chaos Troupe. And I shouldn't say rebirth because it never went away. But when you have to stop something, we've talked a lot about this with momentum. You've got to gain momentum back.
Yeah.
You have to figure that out. And so we had to pause with chaos comedy, and that was frustrating, hard on us, hard on the players. We've got all this stuff going on. It was hard to make that a priority. And then we could feel it. We could feel the energy. We could feel the students just clamoring for chaos needs to come back. Chaos needs to come back. And so we're like, all right, doesn't matter how busy we are. Doesn't matter what we got going on. We have to make this happen. So
Yeah.
what do? We put it on the calendar. Connect, Bri.
Sorry.
Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. We put it on the calendar. So then what happens is you put something on the calendar, and then it's like now we have to do it. Now it's a thing we have to do. We didn't know how, actually. We just knew, all right, there we go. It's gonna happen.
It's got to happen. Yeah.
Then we announce it. We bring in Nick Mulata into the studio. We announce it with an improv podcast. We get that going, and then we're brainstorming on how we gonna restart this thing in such a way that's gonna have, all the good, maybe more good, and leave behind some of the stuff that was hard. That was frustrating. That not hard. We're not afraid of hard, but just sort of like the stuff that would kind of bring us down a little bit.
And the things that weren't working the best, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the things that weren't working the best all the way around.
I
Not
guess
just on
maybe
our end.
let's just say asking that question, how could it be better?
Yes.
Right?
100%.
Yeah, because the momentum of chaos was so far forward when we stopped at the beginning of the pandemic.
Crazy.
I think
Yeah.
we had like 4 months of sold out shows in a row.
Well, and our
we
classes were sold out. I mean,
Yeah.
we were literally a pinnacle. Our business was pinnacle since it's existed. and then COVID happened,
Yeah.
right?
February was our highest enrollment month ever, right?
In the history
By,
of the company.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, in the history of the company.
Yeah, so we had all of that momentum going forward. We had a new player shuffle in every couple of months, so it was always this new, fresh energy. But it was something where we had really found a formula for how it was working, and it was a beautiful thing. It was something I always looked forward to. So then when this meeting came up, it was super hard because I was like, well, I love chaos.
Well, and I know Brian was looking at it too. And here's the thing, and wisely, I believe, looking at it going, well, why would we change? Because look at the success we were having. Like maybe we should just go back to exactly the way it was.
Yeah.
And I wanted to challenge that idea and say, okay, and you know why I challenged it was because of one thing you said in our meeting, which you said the word have to. And you're like, but I have to be here on the Saturdays, blah, blah, blah. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, what if that wasn't true? Or what if you being here wasn't a have to anymore? Like, what if we could translate that into something else? And I started just rethinking the idea. And I thought, okay, how do we set this up in such a way that we raise our expectations of these human beings and let them live into it?
Bingo.
And bing bong, did it work?
It was an amazing first rehearsal.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
cool.
And
Tremendous.
right into that, like, because of that, like you said, I was like a little skeptical about it. Like I was fighting it because like it was something brand new. I mean, just a total like new thing that we've never tried ever. And what I really liked about what you said is, and you do this all the time, you say, well, what if this? What if that? And so then when I like threw Joey, and Joey had to like literally just go, yo, bro, you got to be all in or not.
I love that you called him
which
out
was so
on that.
cool.
Thank you.
So cool.
Because
hard.
that's
It
a hard
was-
thing. It's a
yeah,
hard
it
thing to
was
say
really
what he just said. And the idea being, you said whatever you said, and Joey goes, whoa. Let me just stop for a second. Are you all in? And you hesitated for a second, and Joey's like, you got to be all in or we can't do it.
Yeah.
And then you fought for another second, and I go, sorry, I agree with Joey. Like, got to be all in.
Yeah.
Because we're a team. So if we're not all in, then all of a sudden, like, we're not completely pushing this idea forward in one direction.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in the moment, I was like, what the heck? I'm not happy about it at all.
Not cool,
obviously.
Dog. Not cool.
But then after, you put some stuff up on the board and were able to help me. And honestly, I just got rid of all the negativity inside of me. That's when I was like, okay, yes, let's go for this. And again, when I was in the rehearsal and you were talking to them and we were in the other room hearing them, it
Yeah.
was so very clear that it was the right call.
Well, and it's the right call, like you said the other day, for right now. It's the
Yes.
right call in this moment, and we don't know how it's going to be later. We might have to make adjustments. We probably will. That's how things go if you're continually improving and changing. But the idea is like, this is right now, and even trying it was right. So then going back to that idea, like I can be all in on a new idea, especially if the new idea is coming from our values.
Yeah.
Is it coming from passion, love, mastery? And this one particularly is. We are thinking of the troupe. We are putting them before ourselves. Because I know you enjoy leading the group.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something that you said the thing about having to be here, but that was just this idea of having to be here often and hearing all the like this and that, and it can become a lot on top of everything else that you do. So it's not, but you love being in the room. Let's be honest, you
Yes.
love it.
Yes,
Same with
absolutely.
you. You loved being on the troupe.
100%.
And so you were going to be both sacrificing something, and I was sacrificing something too, because I was committing to being here often, more often, connecting in, giving speeches and giving, advice and things like that. And so between the three of us, we were all giving up something. Therefore we're sacrificing. It's clearly the decision that's coming from love, a decision that's coming from tough love, and saying, hey, we don't see you as students. We don't see you as amateurs. This is the pro team. This is chaos. This is a long tradition of professional comedy that has traveled the nation performing, that has done tons of corporate shows, that has had 3 different theaters. I mean, we have grown and developed and changed over time. And the people in the room, we have high expectations of you to keep that tradition going. And we're still on Chaos, by the way. Just so everyone knows, I'm a Chaos Comedy member.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is Brian. So is Joey. There's a troupe that's meeting, that's developing, that's becoming this professional troupe, we are on that troupe. We're just not always rehearsing and like in that particular space, but we're existing within chaos comedy the same way, honestly, every person who's ever been a part of chaos comedy is still a part of chaos comedy.
Yeah.
The chaos alumni will always be connected.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those things where like the troupe is so special in that way, right? So I feel like, at least for me, there's such a connection there where that was one of the hardest things about the decision was you guys, we were at the meeting, and one of the things that helped me, because I am very tied to the way it was like Brian, and I loved it, and it was something I looked forward to every month, being a rehearsal, being an example, allowing myself to grow and play with new players and all of that. And one of the things was I walked in and I was like, okay, just be open, right? So don't worry about how things used to be. Don't worry about, cause it's different now. And if you're not open, then you're gonna hold on to the old thing, and you're gonna go, oh, but it was so great here. And I think because of that, that's why I was able to talk to Brian and talk so openly with you guys about it, because truthfully, it wasn't easy, because I had to step down from the rehearsal troupe, right? Going up every week and being with the students and all that. Like, I loved that energy. It was so fun for me, and that was something that I really, kind of like you said, where you mourn things.
Yeah.
That was something I had to mourn. I was like, oh man, that's something I'm not going to be doing every month anymore. And I'm so happy I was able to do that because of what happened on Saturday with everybody rising up and leaders rising up in the room and the energy coming out of the room. And a couple of students have talked to us since then, and they were like, yeah, the scenes were great. We did this, and I just was blown away. It's crazy what happens when you allow change to happen, when you allow people to have responsibility.
Yeah.
You know?
And going right into that allowed us even to step in the other room and do some improv ourselves.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what
Right?
we did.
It's true.
So it's powerful stuff.
Yeah, we improvised, we practiced, we had our own little mini rehearsal. We discussed some of what was happening in the other room, how we can even make it better, of what's going on in there, and what we think's happening versus what is happening. And I mean, it was great, really, really good.
Absolutely.
So what are the concepts here? Okay, so as we kind of like wrap this, I think we should dive into the life application of what we're talking about. So first and foremost, the people around you, they want discipline. They crave discipline. They crave somebody to see them for more than what they are, right? To see, like don't you want someone to see you and go, like, I see you here. You know, I mean, I tell my wife sometimes, like, or whoever, if they're down on themselves, have you ever had this conversation where I'll look at my wife and go, babe, if you only saw the potential in you that I see in you, if you only saw how great you are in my eyes, you would have zero doubts about anything, you know. And I'm sure people feel the same way about me and about you and whatnot. And when you hear that kind of love, when you feel that kind of love, it does inspire you to say, well, maybe I am capable of more. Maybe I can do this. And that's basically what we did. So this is idea of raise your expectations for the people around you, and but at the same time, don't just like push it on people, but inspire them, and then be ready to help them. And it's okay if they fail, and you have to set them up in such a way that that's going to be the case. So there's a catch-22 there, you know. Like I don't want to say, for instance, to like I should say to my son maybe, like, I believe that you're capable of having a killer crossover in basketball. I believe you're capable of that, right? I believe in you. I really do. And I believe with enough practice that you could have the best crossover in the game. I believe it. But at the same time, I don't want to raise that expectation to such a place that if he gets into the game a week later, a month later, 6 months later, and he goes to cross over and somebody steals the ball from him, that he gets punished for that thing. That's not the idea. So it's not like I'm raising the expectation in such a way that is unhealthy, but it's you're raising this expectation and saying, hey, I believe in you that you can hit this peak. And then you see what they do. And I'm going to tell you, like, for a lot of times you do that, and all of a sudden you got to raise the roof a little bit.
Yeah, and well, jumping on that, as going back to that first principle also, this is another little lesson takeaway. Remember that each person is totally different, right? Every single
Right.
kid is different, every single person is different. So if you try and teach at, motivate, help two people the exact same way, you're going to fail.
True.
You're gonna fail.
But the idea of raising expectations can work across the board.
Absolutely.
It's just how do you do it?
How do you do it?
Yeah.
Yes.
The
I just want to jump on
execution.
that. The execution. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, for instance, like with our team, part of raising our roof was adding new disciplines that we didn't have in place before. Because for us, for our group, this was best, and we knew it. We could feel it when we discussed it. There was no hesitation. It was like, this is a win. So that's number one. And then number two, I think that we discussed today is the idea of, in order to do this and really do it well, you have to let go of the past.
Yes.
So you were holding on to the past. You were holding on to the past for a little bit. I was holding on to the past. And this idea of going, well, what if? What if we let go of the past? Because what does that mean in a life application? This would mean that and I mean, you're a perfect example with you and me, Joey. Because if you look at what I told you when you started, what you were capable of, I'm not going to go into detail, but what
Yeah.
I told you you're capable of, you didn't think you were capable of.
Nope.
You've already outperformed what I told you could do, that you didn't believe you could do, that I believed you could do. But I set that standard for you, and you were like, "Ugh, I don't think I can do it. I don't think you can do it. I don't think I can do it." And then you've now risen to it, right? But here's the only way that works is I have to sincerely believe it, which I did.
Yeah.
I can't sincerely believe it if I'm holding on to your past. Because if I look at your history, if I look at the Joey Sweeney up until the day we had that conversation, which is the same Joey you're looking at,
Yeah.
if I haven't let go of that past Joey, I don't think you're capable of where you've come. Not at all. I think there's no way in heck you're going to get there if I look at that Joey, which is the only Joey you're looking at.
Yeah.
Right? And that's for all of us. And I think that's why it's harder for ourselves to raise our own expectations, because we're looking at where we came from and what we've done. And so we start to get dragged down by the past and the feelings of what we think we're capable of. But truthfully, we're all capable of exponential heights,
Yeah.
but we have to let go of the past.
That's so important. And it's funny because this came out in one of our church sessions online, and that is that we forgive other people so easily and so quick most of the time, right?
Yeah.
But we don't forgive ourselves as easy, and we don't look. So it's very easy to say, "Hey, Bri, I forgive you. All good, no worries, man." But then when we feel bad about something we did, as humans, the way we operate, it has to be a constant thought to forgive yourself as well. Because if you don't do that, then that gets you into living into the past. You feel the guilt.
You
feel
can't let go
all
if you haven't forgiven.
Yeah, all the bad emotions that aren't propelling you forward because you're not forgiving yourself. You're not understanding that you are capable of more. You can do anything you set your mind to, and that's something really cool I think comes out of it too.
100p, bro. 100p.
Honeybee.
All right, good. So we're gonna wrap up the show here, but before we do, I think just because it's fun. I mean, it's because it's something I like to do.
Ooh.
Just because I think it's something that's just exciting for everybody. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know where you're going, but it's
Brian Sweeney's shameless plugs.
You really didn't know that?
I didn't know it was coming.
Wow.
Hit it, Brian guy. Shameless plug. My book.
Yo,
Go.
Matt's book, Acting is My Day Job, 7 Strategies to Market and Make Money as an Actor and or as anybody doing freaking anything.
Let me talk about this book for a second. So it's blowing up a little bit. There have been consistent days of sales in different countries and significant sales, actually, by the way. I haven't really shared the numbers with you guys, but it's very cool. The traction, what's happening, and the reviews that are coming in. I mean, it's really, really neat. So excited for that. Thank you for plugging the book. And this is a life lesson book too. I mean, it's revolving around acting, but the idea of acting is to act, to take action. So if to take action was your day job, that's what this is. And so it's a how to better yourself, how to be successful in any passion you might have. So I look at this through the acting lens, so it's a no-brainer for actors. But we've had people from other disciplines, many other disciplines, but like opera singers and just different disciplines go, thank you. This book's really, really meant a lot to me, and it's changed the way I look at my career. So yeah, please check that out, and as long as you like it, give me a review.
Absolutely, it's on Amazon.
If I heard that description as a viewer, I would be like, dang, I'm buying the book right now.
I'm buying the book right now. I'm buying the book.
And if you didn't say we can buy the book right now on Amazon, so what are you doing? Just buy the book on Amazon. Just buy the book on Amazon, guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this has been our episode. We talked about raising expectations of other people around you, letting go of the past first. Let go of their past, and then set high expectations. Believe in people beyond how they believe in themselves, and be vocal about it. Because sometimes we feel that, but we're not vocal about it. So if we can be vocal about like how we see each other, we can inspire one another to raise up to new heights. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Mornings with Matt Deering Acting Studio Morning Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share this channel, help us spread this light-driven content
To the planet!
to the planet!
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.
Have a champy day, everybody.